So I married Eric in February 29th, 2004.
And then our son was born, at the end of the year, just before Christmas of 2004. In late 2006, our daughter Ashley was almost going to be born. A bunch of family got together for Thanksgiving, and Chase was just kind of sluggish, right? Some of his other cousins were around, but he was mainly just hanging out with mom, not running around a lot. So we knew he just wasn't feeling well. He didn't seem sick. He just wasn't 100%.
I was a nurse, so I was kind of monitoring him, and I thought he was doing okay. If he was sick with something, I wanted to get him treated before I brought this new baby into the household. So we took him to the pediatrician, and at the pediatrician's office, they looked him over and couldn't quite figure out what was causing the low-grade fevers.
Decided to do a blood test. Nurse comes in, pricks his foot. She leaves. She comes back in and says, you know what? Let me try that again. Pricks his foot again, leaves.
And the second time, the pediatrician actually walked in the room, and he looked at my husband and myself, and he said, we're not going to do more tests here in the office. We're going to send you to Seattle Children's Hospital. And just to let you know, I think he's going to be diagnosed with a blood disorder. And I said, you mean the L word? And he said, yes. And I start crying. And my husband is looking around at both of us going like, what are you talking about? It was in the middle of the day on a Monday, and the room was actually full. And we went up to the receptionist, and we told her Chase's name, and she immediately took us back to the back into a room.
And that's when the first time I was like, this might be a bigger deal than I thought.
Looked at his blood under a microscope and said right away that they thought he had leukemia. And so then when they went in and did a procedure where they did a bone marrow aspiration for him and confirmed and typed the type of leukemia that it was. And then he basically started treatment right away.
And then they're scheduling everything. They needed to basically put a port in close to his heart so that the IV fluids or the chemo fluids they put in would effectively go right into his heart to get well distributed through his whole body. So everything is extremely fast.
Chase was going every day for either chemotherapy or blood transfusions for basically almost a month. So the first 6 months were very intense. Chase lost his hair. Everything dealt around what his immune system was like, what his white blood cell numbers were. That depicted our life.
1 week full in the hospital getting treatment, and then 2 weeks to kind of recover and then start over. A week in the hospital, 2 weeks to recover. And it's full time when you're there. You move in, you bring your luggage and you live there.
I had a lot of babysitters when I was younger, just until my dad got off work on the days that my brother was in the hospital.
Chase's chance of survival was 50-50. As a parent, hearing that is daunting and overwhelming.
Nurses and such were also very, very good at just trying to make sure the kids were comfortable and had a positive experience. And they did a fantastic job.
I used to live upstairs right there in that house.
112, do you remember the address?
And then right across from the boys' dorm.
I don't know what actually made him make the final decision, but I remember one time, he came home and basically told me, hey, I've decided to go to Walla Walla for school.
I never knew what his plans were college-wise. Our parents wanted him to go for film.
And we were excited to see that they had something that was of interest to Chase and something he wanted to pursue at an Adventist university.
I think it's just one of those things where it's important for me to reflect on why I'm here, what I should be doing. God has a plan for me. I mean, he saved me for a reason, so that's the core message of this. There's a lot of miracles in your life, some big, some small. You may not be always thinking about that and, remembering all those miracles, but that's one lesson I think I've had to teach myself is just whenever I'm feeling down, whenever I'm having doubts in my faith, just to sit back and really reflect on how lucky I am